everybody, it's Katie. Say it with me, the Celestial Homebody. And boy, have I had a week, my friends. I'm warning you right now, I'm going to ramble for a little bit, so if you just want to skip to see what I made this week, you're going to need to skip forward a little bit if you don't care about my life. But I've been through it this week, you guys. So on Monday, I had to get dental work done. And if there is one sure thing to spike my anxiety, it is the dentist. The sounds of the and the smells of the tooth dust. No ma'am, no way, no how. But I had to go in for a cleaning, and then on the same day, they filled 4 cavities. So, that was a lot for my gums to handle. I had scabs on my gums for a couple of days, and because they did the fills, and I don't think they filed my teeth correctly, because my bite now feels a lot different than it did before, and so my entire jaw has been killing me this week, which apparently does happen. I do have to go back in next week so that they can file down some spots, but my mouth feels like every single tooth I have a cavity on. I can hardly eat anything, drink anything cold. My jaw feels like it's been broken. It is wild how much havoc it can wreak on your mouth and on your bones and your skull when your bite is different than what you have had your whole life. So I've been dealing with that pain all week long. I've been just alternating between Tylenol and ibuprofen for the past week, and it doesn't hurt too bad right now because I've got all of that in my system, but once that medicine wears off, oh boy, it hurts bad. Also on Monday, Aunt Flo decided to come and visit, so my mouth was hurting and my uterus was hurting. So it was just not a very pleasant day, Monday and Tuesday. And then yesterday on Friday, because I'm filming this on Saturday, I had to go into the hospital for a test. So I have shared a lot of this over on Instagram. If you don't follow me over there and you want to know more personal stuff about me, I guess you can at the Celestial Homebody. But since pregnancy, I have been dealing with really, really bad acid reflux, GERD, heartburn, whatever you want to call it. And we're not really sure why. So I have been undergoing a series of tests to figure out why I am having this really bad reflux, because it can be very dangerous, especially when you're sleeping, because you can choke on it and it causes esophageal cancer and a lot of not good stuff. So we're trying to get to the bottom of what is going on. So a few weeks ago, I had to do a pH manometry test, which is where for 24 hours, I had to have a tube running down my nose, all the way down my throat into my stomach. And I had to wear this little monitor, and it would monitor my reflux levels. And we finally got the results back from that. And they're like, oh, this is pretty bad. The test came back saying that for about 50% of my life, I am in a constant state of reflux. And at night, especially, I was having reflux reach like the top of my throat. I just didn't know it because I was asleep. Sometimes I do wake up because it's that bad, and then I have to sleep sitting up. So after that, they wanted me to do a barium swallow, which if you've never had that done, count your lucky stars. You have to drink this really, really thick liquid it's the texture of an incredibly thick Pepto-Bismol, but it's white. And you have to drink it and then stand on like this little table thing, and then they take pictures of your stomach and your esophagus and all of your anatomy to see what's going on. So I had that done on Friday, and that was not fun either, having to drink that stuff. It was nasty. And then I felt nauseous all day long. But I already got the results back from that. And apparently I have a hiatal hernia, which is pushing part of my stomach up into my esophagus. So that is likely the main culprit for the reflux issues. So they want me to undergo a endoscopy next, which is a procedure where they put you to sleep and then put like a probe down your throat to get pictures and video of all of your internal anatomy. It's kind of like a colonoscopy if you've ever had that, but they go through the front door instead of going through the back door, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I'm not looking forward to that because that involves anesthesia and stuff that I just don't want to have to deal with. But if it means that we're getting to the bottom and going to find a fix for what's happening to me, then that would be great. That's actually one of the reasons why I stopped soda, was because of the heartburn issues. But to be honest with you, it hasn't helped at all. I'm just miserable now that I'm not drinking soda. Although you guys do know that I have found my new love in life. Ice strawberry starburst. If you haven't tried it, highly recommend it. I know a lot of you guys are telling me that you've tried it and you understand why I love it so much and you have been influenced. And all I have to say is sorry, not sorry. Welcome to the club. But anyways, in the next couple of weeks, months, however long it's going to be, I am going to need to have surgery to fix this hiatal hernia, and hopefully that will fix the problem. But I don't have a surgery date scheduled yet. It'll probably not be until like August or September because they want to run a couple more tests just to know what they're getting into when they open me up and go in there and see what's happening. But hopefully that will fix the problem. But this week has just not been super fun. And I've just felt poopy this week. So I didn't have a ton of time to crochet or a ton of bandwidth to crochet, but I finished a couple of big things this week, which I'll show you in a minute. But something else that happened is this actually happened not this past week, the week before, and I did share it on Instagram as well, so I apologize if you're hearing this repeated, because I shared it to my story, but there was some drama with my art. So as you may or may not know, I sell on Etsy. I'm actually reaching my 10-year anniversary on Etsy in January 2026. I will have been on Etsy for a decade, which is wild to think about. I started my Etsy business when I was in college making custom mouse ears for Disneyland because I went to college like 10 minutes away from Disney in Irvine. Well, with the drive, it was like 45 minutes because Southern California traffic, you know. But I spent most of my time at Disneyland with my season pass, and I would wear my ears and all my friends would wear my ears and then hand out business cards and stuff. And that is how I funded my Disney season pass when I was in college. So that's how my Etsy started. But over the years, it's definitely evolved. And now I've been selling primarily crochet patterns and then also stickers of my art. And last week, I get a message from a lovely, lovely friend saying, hey, I think somebody has stolen your artwork and is now selling it. And sure enough, there is a very, very poorly done AI copy of my professional hobby collector sticker, which I designed earlier this year. I have merch for it, like I have t-shirts and sweatshirts and tote bags, but on my Etsy, I just sell the sticker version of it since I hand make all of my stickers here at home. And yeah, this sticker shop took my exact image, and it was so clear that they just ran it through AI and said, just recreate this. Everything from like the font, color, and text, the little Scrabble letters, they did change one letter, but I specifically put RKS in there for Ryan Katie Sawyer. So they changed just one letter, but everything else was the same. Everything is in the exact same spot, but you can tell it's AI because like the worm thing that's meant to be a tape measure or something, I don't know. So I had to go through the process with Etsy Legal, which is a joke, to try to get this shop sticker taken down. And in the process of doing so, a couple of other people told me that this shop was actually also selling knockoffs of their art. So I had to submit a copyright claim, and Etsy Legal came back and said, we have temporarily disabled this person's listing, not their entire shop, just the listing of said sticker. And if they come back with a counterclaim, then it is not up to Etsy to decide like who's in the right and who's in the wrong. You need to take it to court, is pretty much what Etsy told me. And honestly, that just really pissed me off, that it is clear that they are using artificial intelligence to rip off original artwork, and Etsy is not doing anything to stand by artists. And there's been a lot of drama with Etsy lately. They have been upping their fees like crazy because their stock is like down so far because so many people are leaving the platform because they do not take care of artists, and they let so many scammers into Etsy. They let like resellers, drop shippers, just straight up plagiarizers. Like, that is a huge problem in the crochet world, where people will have their patterns outright stolen, the entire listing, photos, name, the pattern itself, and just put up for like $1 on Etsy. And it's like, what do these scammers even have to gain out of this? Because Etsy's fees are so incredibly high that they're making like 2 cents per pattern sale. And so all of this stuff has just like really gotten me angry at the platform. And while I think that Etsy is a great way to start because people in general trust it, and it is most people's go-to like one-stop shop for anything handmade, well, it's supposed to be, but clearly it's not all handmade stuff anymore. But it was great for me to build my business. But with everything that has happened recently, I think that I'm going to be quitting Etsy and moving all of my sticker sales, my artwork, my crochet patterns and goods all onto my own website, which I'm going to be working on this week, getting up and running, which it is so much work to get everything relisted on my own platform and building a whole website from scratch versus just listing it on Etsy. But the amount of fees that I'm going to save is insane. Like, just for reference, if you don't sell on Etsy, I have to list my patterns and my stickers for more expensive than what I actually should be, because out of each sticker sale, which I sell for $4.25, Etsy takes almost $2 of that. So it's just crazy how much money this company is gaining from small independent artists, and it's really making me mad. So when I move over to my new website and you guys purchase stickers or patterns or anything over there, I'll be able to offer them for a lot less money because I'm not going to have to mitigate those fees that I'm having to pay toward Etsy. I think for the foreseeable future, I will keep my Etsy shop open and running, just because, again, it is a good way to get eyeballs on the business. But I'll probably put something like in my Etsy bio saying, please shop from my website, my personal store. But yeah, that's why I'm planning on quitting Etsy. I'm just done with that kind of stuff, with like pattern theft and I know so many creators here on YouTube have said that they have had a pattern stolen, and it sucks because it's just so unfair to the people who spend the hours and hours and days, sometimes even weeks, that it takes to write up a pattern. And then the thing about the sticker that really pissed me off was the fact that they were undercutting me. So they were selling their sticker for half the price of mine, and nobody had my sticker sitting in their cart. You can see how many carts it's in. Nobody had my sticker sitting in their cart, but they had like 12 people with their knockoff AI sticker in the cart. So all of that money that should have been, in theory, going to me for my design and my artwork was going to them. And yeah, AI is getting so scary now with how good it's getting. And this was not good AI. Don't get me wrong. You can see for yourself. It was bad. But AI is getting so good that it's becoming hard to tell what is real and what is not online. And I fear for Celeste's generation, It's scary. It's very scary. And speaking of AI, there was drama with my art with that too a few weeks ago. My Eevee crossover with Animal Crossing art designs, I guess you could call them. I'll put a picture up here of them. I drew all of these, designed all of these. I've been working on them for years at this point. And obviously over the years, my art has gotten better. I've learned new techniques. I'm using different brushes and things like that on my iPad on Procreate when I'm drawing. So each one looks a little bit different because I can personally tell the difference between my older style and my newer style. And I'm also an artist that likes to experiment with different styles. I do not have one style. I like to do chibi art. I like to do more realistic art. I like to play with different types of shading. Sometimes I'll use watercolor brushes. Sometimes I'll use like inking pens. I like to do it all. And because of all of this, on Instagram, that post of these stickers went semi-viral. I mean, viral for me. It's gotten like 13,000 views. And people are saying this is so AI. Like, don't support this artist. It is clearly AI generated. And I'm like, no, it's not. And I actually had to like call people out in my Instagram story and say, here are my layers in Procreate. Here is the initial concept art. Here are all of the layers of how I drew the outlines and then colored it and shaded it. And like, I just do not like the world that we're living in right now, where it's like, if you're an artist that likes to try different things or improve, if your art is too good, then it must be AI. If it's bad, then it must be AI. And people like telling others not to shop from me and not to buy my artwork because it's clearly AI generated when it's not. It just, I don't know. It's really put a damper on my creative juices the past few weeks. So I'm sorry if my energy is a little off this week because of all of that happening. I'm in a lot of pain. Really, I'm not looking forward to surgery. But my hair looks cute today. So there's a silver lining in everything. So speaking of my art, I did get a couple of sticker orders this week that I just wanted to show to you super quick. They're only 4. But this one for Jacqueline is going all the way to the UK, maybe to Wales. I don't know, somewhere in England. And Jacqueline got a good haul, so she got a little sticker of me. It's on me. She got a Snitches Get Stitches sticker. She got a Kevin the Mushy Boy sparkly sticker. She got a Pink Pony Club sticker. She got a Highland Cow sticker. She got a Let Me Cook. And a little chibi Katie, the Celestial Homebody, and Ryan, the Cheeseball King sticker pack. So thank you so much, Jacqueline. I hope that they get there to you safely. Then we have Kara. She got a Snitches Get Stitches sticker. She also got a Kevin the Mushy Boy, and she got a Cries Easily cake. This one I definitely relate to. I mean, of course I do. I drew it, but I actually just put one of these on my own water bottle the other day. Then we have Jessica, and Jessica got a little Soot Sprite crochet helper sticker. And finally, we have Nadia, and Nadia really got the whole homebody pack because she got a little chibi Katie and Ryan. She also got a Katie the Celestial Homebody sticker and a Celestial Homebody logo sticker. So thank you so much to everybody who has purchased stickers from me in the past. It really means the world to me. This little sticker endeavor has been so much fun because I have loved stickers since I was a very young child, and I've always put stickers all over everything. So now being at the place in my life where I'm able to provide that joy to others, it just is so nice. So thank you so much, everybody who has supported my Etsy, whether it be through stickers, patterns, any of my artwork. I appreciate you so much. Let me have a little sipple and then we'll get into what I made this week, because I know that's what you're really here for. Let's talk crochet. That will cheer me up. And if you're also not having a good week, a good day, I hope that a little crochet will cheer you up too. Let's get happy together, okay? Let's get the serotonin juices a-flowing. Oh, I know something that'll do the trick. So you guys know that I have this little fuzzy mic, right, that I use with my camera. Look what I did to him. This is Reginald. I was going to name him Mike, M-I-C, but I felt like that was too on the nose. So this is now Reginald the microphone. So if you see him in video, say, "Hi, Reginald." I should make a members emoji for Reginald. But look at his hair. Doesn't he give like Albert Einstein vibes? So anyways, you can stare at Reginald's piercing black pupils for this video. So the first thing that I made this week was a bigger project, and I was just in the mood to make a mermaid. I had this really pretty variegated big twist plush yarn that I have never used before, but I panic bought when I found out they were going under. So I pulled out this plush yarn and then picked some colors to go with it to make a mermaid. And this is what she turned out like. Isn't she pretty? So this is that big twist plush variegated. I don't know what the color name is, but I've never used it on anything before. I just thought that it would be really pretty for turtle shells or some sort of aquatic creatures because of the lighter green and the teal and then the deep teal in it. So I ended up picking these colors to go with it. This teal for her fin, the light blue for her little bralette, and then her hair is a very, very light mint. This is actually the same Elise Voluto color that I used on my giant Scrump doll. If you saw that last week, I did have some of that left since I had to buy a bunch to finish that work since I lost Yarn Chicken last week. But I decided to use that on her because I just thought that it complemented this variegated so nicely. Of course, we gave her blush because nobody is safe around me from getting blush. And I was thinking about doing like a long flowy hairstyle, but I decided just to go with the little top bun, honestly, just to save time, because that is a lot less time consuming than doing individual strands of hair. And I had to prioritize a lot of time this week to doing another doll, which I will show you at the end for the grand finale. But the last mermaid that I made actually sold to a subscriber, so I only took her to one market. So I wanted to make another one to take to market. I mean, unless one of you guys want to buy her, of course, but wanted to bring a mermaid to market and see if she sold there. My next market is coming up in September. It is my town's fall festival, which is going to be such a fun market. And last year I did bring a mermaid and she sold on the first day of that market to a precious little like 1-year-old girl. It was such a cute transaction. But I realized that I forgot to put a neck stabilizer in her. So her head's real floppy. But you know, if this goes to a little kid, I feel like they like the floppiness. Get your mind out of the gutter. I know what you're thinking. Every time Katie says she likes a floppy head, I know exactly what your mind goes to. Knock it off. Go to your room. So for my dolls' necks, I usually use these foam rollers. You can pick these up at the Dollar Tree. These ones in particular are from Amazon. Yeah, I also use these for my gummy worms. Free tutorial on my channel, by the way. But I fold them in half like this, and then I stick them in the neck, and then it just helps stabilize their neck a little bit. I'll show you in the other doll how it stabilizes. It is not floppy, but it's not this floppy, you know? I've also seen people use like pool noodles and stuff to put inside of their necks to make them not fluffy, to make them not floppy. But like I said, I like it when they have a little bit of that ragdollness to them. I just think with this style, they're extra cute. So we'll see if she sells at market. I really, really like this color combo on her with the green hair. She's fun. Haven't you heard green hairs have fun? Or is that blondes have fun? So last weekend was our county's fair, and a few weeks ago I asked you guys if I should submit one of my plushies into the fair to be judged and hopefully win a first place blue ribbon, and you guys said yeah, do it. And you guys told me that I should submit one of the butterfly dragons that you see in the back there. I don't know if they're a little bit blurry, but I did decide to submit one of my plushies, and so we have a little mini vlog coming up here of my submission to the fair, and you can see if I won for crochet. So roll the footage. It is very bright and very hot out here today, but it is currently July 3rd, I think, July 2nd, and I am out here at the Decatur County Extension building for the fairgrounds, which is right across the street. And today I am dropping off my submission for the county fair for crochet. So here's the little booklet that I have, the 2025 Open Class Exhibitor Guide. Okay, so here are the crocheting categories. So there's no official class for crocheted plushies outside of just the other categories. So I am entering into class 7. Unfortunately, you can only do one entry per person per class, and I did not prepare anything else. So you might be wondering, Katie, what are you submitting to the fair to win that coveted blue ribbon? Here she is. This is my Monarch Butterfly Dragon, which you might have seen if you've been around here for a while. And she took about 8 hours to make. Her eyes are hand painted. I bejeweled her eyes. Her little antenna are little pipe cleaners so that, you know, she looks like a butterfly. And all of the embroidery work, the fur on it, I think that she might have a really good chance of winning. At least I hope so. So how this works is I'm going to go drop her off right now, and then in a few weeks we will attend our county fair and see her in all of her glory amongst all of the other crocheted items and see what kind of ribbon we won. So I'm going to drop her off for her stay for the next few weeks, and I will see you guys then. I feel like I just dropped her off at daycare, and I'm a little sad. All right, here we are. The audio is not gonna be great because it's loud in here. So up top, it looks like we have the baked goods. And down below, we have the vegetables. That's a big broccoli. Is that a broccoli? Oh, wow. Look at that, grand champion for that broccoli. Over here, we have some perler beads. Miscellaneous crafts. I don't know where the crochet is. I got one of the purple ribbons last year, the Reserve Grand Champion, which I think is like second place, I think, and then the dark purple is first place. I also got a blue ribbon. I got a first premium last year for my class, which was children's wearables. Over here we have all of the quilts. Oh my gosh. Look at the little Dorothy and Toto. It says there's no place like home. Wait, that definitely deserves Grand Champion. That's so neat. Okay, we have some plants over here and paintings maybe. We have some sewn goods. Oh, that's fun fabric. Did they paint that? It almost looks like it's painted. Okay, I do not see my dragon. Is it very last cabinet, Ryan says. There are so many people here. Okay, here it is. What is this? What did I get? I got another purple Reserve Grand Champion. And then I don't know what the red one is. What does the red one mean? Is that second place maybe? Because in the category? I don't know what that means. I'm not going to know until we pick it up. Oh wait, over here. Oh yeah, okay, it's second premium. So she won second premium in the category. Looks like this is what I was up against that won first overall. What is it? Is it a tree skirt? Or just a circle blanket? I don't know, but I definitely feel like my butterfly dragon deserved better than second place. I won Reserve Grand Champion again and second place for the category. I know. Okay, Ryan went and checked it out. He said that it's actually an umbrella that won Grand Champion.
Yeah, that's bold to have a crocheted umbrella.
Yeah, well, it's more like a parasol, you know?
Oh yeah, good point.
It's not really meant for rain.
True.
It's meant to keep the sun off of the fair Irish skin like my own. You wouldn't know how it is because you blink and you tan. So I'm noticing that every year I've done this, flat crochet has won. Also, I'm really, really close to the camera because it's very loud in here. But flat crochet has won, so I need to keep that in mind. I don't know that I'm ever going to break first place grand champion unless I do a flat crochet like blanket or something, which I don't want to do. So I'll just keep getting the purple ribbons, and that's fine because you know what? They match my brand and they go cute in my office. So I'm still very pleased. Congratulations to the parasol creator. So there are all these stalls here that set up every year, but I honestly don't know that I want to be vending at this fair because the Midwest weather is brutal. It is like 90 degrees, 100% humidity right now. I don't know that I would want to be out there for all 2 weekends. Or you can get a booth inside this little, looks like a shipping container, but this little building. People are packing up because it is the last day, the last hour of the fair. But this building does not have AC, so it is even worse inside. Oh my gosh, look at all the baked goods. They're all steaming up the bags because it's so hot and humid. Are these real cakes? Oh my gosh. Look at these. Wow, look at this one. This one won first premium. How pretty. Oh, there's a grand champion over there. I wonder what the categories were. Oh, look at what we have going on here. Some sort of planting thing. They all look dead, but that could be because it's brutal out here at the moment. Let's look at the first place cake. Wow. I just got nervous that I was about to drop my phone into it. That would have been really bad. Look at the champion ribbon. Wait, there's 2 champion ribbons? How do you get, oh my gosh. Selected for the state fair? Oh, did I just push that into there? Oops. Do you bring this exact cake to the state fair? That's in like 3 weeks from now. How is it still gonna be good? I'm so confused how this works. Oh, we have the canning category over here. So it looks like this concoction of beef stew won first premium. And this concoction of taco soup won second premium for the category. We have a half a cookie and a quarter of a cookie here. And that won first premium. Looks like a sugar cookie maybe. I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's so hot. But this is just, it's so precious. This is why I love living in a small town and a small county. We live in the biggest city in the entire county. That's why it is here in our hometown where the county fair is. All of the animals are packed up. Otherwise, I would go show you guys the farm building and we can look at all the piggies and the goats and everything that won. But like I said, it is the end of the day. What is this reminding me of? So Celeste and I are just walking around. We might go get a bite to eat. Not gonna ride any rides or anything because you think I trust rides that are set up and taken down in like the same day pretty much? Ain't no way. But we might try to hunt down the classic Hoosier Indiana pork tenderloin sandwich. I'll put a picture of it in here if you do not know what the Indiana pork tenderloin sandwich looks like. If you're not a Hoosier, then you probably don't get it. But here, we love it. So we might grab that for dinner and then head home. So I will see you for the rest of the video. So here's my ribbon. There it is. So if you're unfamiliar with how the classes work in a county fair, I just pretend to know, by the way. This could be incorrect information, so take what I say with a grain of salt, as always. But there are different classes. So I submitted my butterfly dragon into the other class. There was a class for Afghans, for children's clothing, a bunch of other things. I went into the other category. I'm surprised that there's no category specifically for plushies, like toys, but there's not. So in the other category was also a very complex, as you saw in the video, parasol that was obviously crocheted, and that was also entered into the other category because it did not fit in any of the other classes. So it was between my butterfly dragon and this parasol competing for first. So what ended up happening was they gave first place for the other category to the parasol, gave second place for the other category to me, so that's why I got the red ribbon. And then overall, for all of the crochet and all of the classes that were submitted between the Afghans, the clothing, all of the other categories, I ended up winning second place, which is also known as the Reserve Grand Champion. And then that parasol, who I was competing against for first in my class, also won first overall for crochet. So second place for all of the amazing crochet things that were submitted is not bad. But like I said, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to break that first place unless I do flat crochet, which I'm really not about. I don't know if I want to go to the dark side just to win. But now I actually have 2 purple ribbons just like this because I also won second place overall last year for something that I crocheted for Celeste. Her little Halloween costume was a little mermaid Halloween costume. So I have both of my ribbons hanging here on my art easel, and maybe next year will be the year. But the good news is that we now have Monarch Butterfly Dragon back, so she is up there in all her glory, if you can even see her. I know the bookshelf kind of blocks her, and all that stuff on the shelf kind of blocks the bottom of the tapestry too. Let's take a little peek at the tapestry in case you didn't see it last week. She's so pretty. I still need to get a taller chair so that I can sit up higher so that the frame is more like that. But if I were to film like that, then hello! So speaking of the fall festival, because it is in the autumn season, coming up to Halloween, I of course need some fall autumnal things. So months and months ago, I actually started prepping for this market. Hands up in the comments if you guys have been around since the video when I had lipstick all over my front teeth, but I was prepping for this market and making Halloween themed items. But in that video, I made some pumpkin buddies, and I only got around to making 2, so I have had them in my totes all year long. So this week, I got to making 2 more little pumpkin buddies. This one's eyes I put a little bit too far apart. He kind of looks like lizard-like. This one looks good though. So I just free-handed these little pumpkins. There are a bunch of free pumpkin patterns out there on Instagram and Ribbler and stuff, but it was not hard to do. I just did a couple increase rounds, single crocheted around, and then decreased. And then the piece de resistance is to leave a long yarn tail so that you can close up the hole at the bottom, but then also use it to create the little segments on the pumpkin. And then I used some green yarn to make their little vine. And so now I have a total of 4 pumpkin buddies. I think that that's going to be enough. Last year to Fall Festival, I did only bring 1 and it did sell out in the first day, but I still had a sign that said spooky buddies that had ghosts, pumpkins, and what was it? Candy corn, I think was the third one. But the pumpkins were sold out, and I had a couple of people ask if I had any more, which I did not because I only brought 1. So I'm bringing 4 this year. I think that it's going to be plenty. I can't anticipate that many people wanting these little guys. I mean, they are cute. It is a cute little decoration. Should I make more? Should I make more of these? I don't know. I don't know yet. So something kind of boring that I made we'll get through these quick, is I made a couple of orange loaf cats. I am almost completely out of loaf cats. If you saw my popcorn vlog, I only have 5 loaf cats left. One of them was still muddied from the Renaissance Festival. And I tried cleaning it off, but because that yarn is white and it's also Sweet Snuggles light, so it's very delicate, I was not able to get that off. So I think I'm just going to put like a $2 price on it and throw it in the misfit bin and just clearance it out. Hopefully somebody will love it. But other than that white cat, I only have 5 left. So I made 3 orange cats. This is with the Burnout Mystical color. I think it's called Canyon. No, it's not Canyon. It's not Earthenware. Is it Canyon? It might be Canyon. I don't know. Take a shot every time Katie says Canyon. But I gave each one different eyes. So on this one, I gave some glitter disc green eyes. This one, I did more like sad, just little line eyes, you know, because some cats have like the eyebrows, you know what I'm talking about? So that's kind of what this one looks like. And then this one I did with white around the eyes. And to be honest with you, the reason I didn't give these 2 safety eyes is because I was laying in bed doing this late at night. I didn't have any safety eyes next to me and I didn't want to get up and wake the baby up. So that's why I just went back later and embroidered them. The truth comes out. But anyways, I did 3 little loaf cats just to kind of restock. I'm definitely gonna need to get to doing more of them. They're not my favorite thing to make, but they always sell so well. So I could take a stand and decide not to make the same thing everybody else is making to sell at markets. But to be honest with you, they make me a lot of money. So why would I do that? So last week, I showed you guys a couple of cows that I had done because I did a video about market bestsellers, and cows are ones that sell really well for people. So I decided to hop on the bandwagon and make some cows. And I had one more pattern that I was not able to get around to making last week, but I did make this week, and it's another little Highland cow. Now, before I show her to you, this goes back to the conversation that we just had about scammers on Etsy, and I went back to get the link for this pattern for you for this video so that you can go buy it, but the shop has since been completely removed. This pattern was only 87 cents, I think, and I remember thinking, like, that's really cheap. Maybe they're just like marking it down for some reason, I don't know. Or sometimes people will offer a free pattern on Instagram and then offer it for really cheap over on Etsy if you prefer to have like a PDF version of it. So I thought that that was what was happening. But now I think that this might have been a scammer who blatantly stole somebody else's pattern and sold it, and I bought it. So I am so sorry to the original creator of this pattern. I cannot find it anywhere. So hopefully one of you guys will be able to find it or know what this is. I think it's called Charlie the cow, Charlie the baby cow, something like that. But if we can hunt down the original creator or this pattern specifically, then I will link it for you in the description box. But look at how cute she is. This is a little Highland cow. And I was originally making this for markets, but then I finished her and I was like, she's not going anywhere. This is mine. This is mine forever. Well, it can be for Celeste, but it's for Mama until Celeste is old enough to play with it. But look at how cute she is with her little top knot. Ah! So for the fur, one thing that inspired me to do a Highland cow for this pattern, because obviously you could have also done like a ye old dairy cow situation, was I have a bunch of Big Twist fur, which that is one of the lines that I miss the most about Big Twist. Honestly, like everybody's talking about Posh and Plush, but their faux fur was so high quality and the colors were chef kiss. This is one of them. This colorway is actually called Highland Cow, and it is this white and brown spotted, and I had this yarn that I had yet to use on anything, and I was like, well, I should use it on a Highland cow. So here it is. The color for the actual body is rust. maybe from Premier Chenille Brights. Yes, I think the color is Rust, but it is this really vibrant cinnamony brown. And I did have a couple of other options for fur that were brown because I originally did this and I was like, I don't know if I love the white and brown spots. I feel like it kind of distracts from her little bow here a little bit. So I was going to pull out a different color brown fur, but none of the other ones that I had went with this color of her body because it is so saturated. The other browns next to it almost seemed mousy. I don't know how else to describe it, but all in all, in the end, I think that the spotted look actually is really adorable. And of course, I embroidered her eyes, it being for a little baby. So for her bow, I just used some white cotton. I would have loved to use, I think like a butter yellow would have been really pretty, or an off-white, antique white, vintage white, whatever you want to call it. But unfortunately, since I barely ever work with cotton or acrylic, I did not have many color choices to choose from. So white it was. And I love the way that the band has like this little scallop because it almost looks like it's lace. It's just so pretty. For how big this is, it took a long time. This is definitely not a market-friendly pattern at all. But the way that she just in my hand, oh my gosh, I love it so much. It was baby approved. Celeste loved it for a good 5 minutes and then threw it off to the side and never looked at it again. So we'll try it in a couple of weeks. You know, the entire world is new to her right now. So she doesn't dwell on things for too long before moving on to something else that's new to her. But I love it. I love it. I definitely want to put her in the background. You might see her in the background. Oh, we should give her a name. What should we name her? Definitely something Scottish. Fiona. That was almost Celeste's name. Well, one of her almost names. Let's name her Fiona. This is little Fiona, the Highland Coo. She's so cute. So, speaking of last week and my cow patterns, I had also shown you guys a couple of the splooting cows. I had done one dairy cow and one Highland cow in that style. And I gave you guys a little teaser and told you that I was working on another critter following that same exact pattern, but I modified it a little bit to be a different creature. So, I made this little splooting unicorn. So I bought these eyes forever and a year ago on Etsy, and they're blue pupils. And I was like, I want to use these for some sort of magical creature. They have little stars in them too. And I just wasn't sure what to use them on. But after I had selected the colors, the pastel colors for her hooves and her hair, this, by the way, is the Premier Chenille tie-dye. I just thought that this blue pupil eye would look really cool on her, and she is meant to be a mythical creature. So I think that they work great. I used this very soft Elise Voluto pink color for her muzzle, and I gave her a little cutie mark. She was loosely inspired by Princess Celestia of My Little Pony, which is not why we named our daughter Celeste, but it's just a happy accident that she's also kind of named after a pony, since Ryan and I are both My Little Pony lovers. But I gave her a purple horn, and this is actually just a twinkle acrylic yarn that I picked up at Walmart, and I thought that it went really well with her hair. And this is another one that I was making to intend to sell, but especially after I use my eyes that I've been saving forever on her, I kind of don't want to sell her. I kind of want to keep her for myself. I just love the way that these splooting critters feel when you hug them. They almost remind me of pillow pets. Who remembers pillow pets? Oh my gosh. Do they still make those? I have not seen a pillow pet in a hot minute. That is definitely what these guys feel like, because they're all, they're splooting. So they're nice and cuddly. So for ease, we will name her Celestia. Oh yeah, I didn't say what her cutie mark was. It's just this little burst, this little star sunburst thing. I didn't want to go too crazy because I figured this is probably going to a little kid when I was originally making it, and now I'm going to keep it. But I didn't want to do like too much on here. I don't know. Also, she's all white, so maybe getting this for a small child would not be the best idea. But this is Bernat Blanket, by the way, if you're wondering what the white is. They come out a really good size in Bernat. I think for the amount of work that these take about 2 hours to do. I do think that they come out a decent size. I like to pay myself about $20 an hour for crochet, and I normally don't take into the cost of materials when I price items. So $40 for the time to make this. I'd probably sell this for like $50, $55 if I'm being honest with you. So I definitely think that you get a lot for your time with this pattern. And in my opinion, it's fun to make. I know Snuggle Beans Crochet on Etsy also has a bunch of splooting creatures like this. This is not from Snuggle Beans. I will link the pattern for you in the description box. But if you're looking for splooting critters, I know that creator also has a couple of different ones. But as I said, this is the cow pattern. I just modified, the only thing that I modified was the ears, and then I added a horn. So that was it. It was not hard at all to make my own. So maybe we'll also find a place for her back there. It's going to get real crowded in the back of the videos very soon. So the next thing that I made, because I already had this yarn out for the hair, the tie-dye in the color Peace and Love, I wanted to make something else with it. And I decided, since it is July, if you did not know, it is my birthday month, I decided to make my own pattern of a birthday turtle. So I used the tie-dye for all of the little flippers in the head. And then for the cake itself, I did a different color fluffy flex that I've not used for a birthday turtle before. And that is the purple with the white fluffy flex frosting. And I love using this yarn for cakes because it looks like funfetti. And this, if you did not know, is my own pattern. It's available on my Etsy, but I did add a little party hat to it just for funsies. I just added a little hat. The blue yarn is actually Woobles yarn because this upcoming Friday, I have a Woobles review video coming out, which is a hot mess. I highly recommend the watch, even if you're not interested in getting a Woobles. You still might find some enjoyment out of it. But anyways, I had a bunch of Woobles yarn left over in this blue color. So that is why I used it for the little hat. What do you call those? Tendrils? The little streamer things on the hat. And then I also used it to wrap around the candle as well. And I love pastels, and my brand color is purple. So is this not the most perfect birthday turtle for me? Speaking of my birthday, I would love to take this time right now to invite you all to my birthday live stream on July 26th, 2 days before my actual birthday. It is a Saturday. We are going to be live streaming right here on the channel. We're going to play games. We're going to crochet. We'll do a little Q&A. I'm going to read some cards that you guys have sent me on stream. So I would love to see you all there if you can make it. It's going to be a slumber party theme. So I'm going to be in my jammies. You guys can wear your jammies too. Grab your whip that you are working on currently and just hang out with me for a few hours. I have no idea how late into the night we're going to go, but it's going to be a ton of fun. Maybe we'll play Truth or Dare. We'll play some good sleepover games. And it'll just be a good time. So I hope to see you on July 26th on the live stream. But anyways, I do plan on selling this. It's not really for me. I'm not really a turtle girl, to be honest with you. So hopefully somebody else will get some enjoyment out of this. That is one thing that I really like about the birthday turtle pattern. I mean, I am biased because it is my pattern. I did write it. But every time I have made a birthday turtle, it has sold. And my theory behind that is that it is always somebody's birthday. Every single time you go to a market, there's a very good chance, actually there's a 100% chance that one of your customers is going to know somebody somebody who has a birthday coming up, because that's the thing about birthdays. They come up often, every year, in fact. So I do have a strong suspicion that this one will also sell. Now, this birthday turtle did come out a little bit smaller than the last one that I made did, because I just used a smaller hook and a little bit thinner yarn. But these can come out really, really big if you make them with like an 8mm hook and a jumbo yarn, which is what I did on my last one. And that one sold at market for $75, I think. $65? I don't know. If you saw the popcorn video, then I said how much it sold for there. But for the amount of time that you spend on these, which is like less than 2 hours, I'd say, definitely you get a lot of money for the time that you put into them. So anywho, there is my 30th birthday turtle. Yay! So for the grand finale today, I have another doll to show you. And I also teased this on last week's episode of This Week's Makes. And this doll I made as a custom commission, I guess you can call it a commission, for the winner of our 10,000 subscriber giveaway. But last week I did the general subscriber giveaway doll. This week was only for members. So I announced the member winner on our last live stream, and she let me know what character she wanted. And so that is the doll that I made for her. So this one was tricky because outside of my Harley Quinn doll, this is the first one that I have made that is based on an actual human instead of a cartoon character, which most of my dolls are based on, which obviously fits with the little chibi style that I make these in. But this member requested a doll of Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind, specifically in her blue velvet dress. So this was my reference, and all of the photos of this outfit are very not good quality. So I did have kind of a hard time figuring out precisely what was happening, like with her hair and her jewelry and everything. But I think I got pretty close. So I present to you Miss Scarlett O'Hara in doll form. Here she is, Miss America. She kind of has some bald spots on the back. She looks like she needs some Rogaine. But that's because this for her hair is Elise Voluto yarn, and I only had one skein, and I was fighting against Yarn Chicken. I did win, but I did not have enough to make any more strands of hair covering the back. But here's the good news, is that the member who won her actually is a doll collector. So she has told me that this pretty little lady is going to sit under a glass dome with a doll stand, and that's where she's going to live. So you're not really going to be able to see the back of her head that much. But as you can tell, she has this beautiful blue velvet dress, just like in the reference images, and the skirt alone took me about an hour to do. Now, I did not make it floor length because I wanted to have a little peekaboo moment, you know, like a little Marilyn Monroe moment where you could see her little shoes and legs. And I think that the length is cute. You know, it's not cumbersome. It's almost more like a 50s swing dress. So it's not super realistic to the image because that is clearly a floor length gown. But I think that this length is cute for this style of a doll, being more cutesy, you know? So for her eyelashes, I did embroider eyelashes like I do on all of the dolls, but I also gave her some real lashes, and by real I mean Dollar Tree fake glue-on eyelashes, just to give her a little extra glam. And of course I blushed her up. For her earrings and her necklace, I gave her these little rhinestones. Technically, she doesn't wear a necklace in the photo, but in all of the cosplays that I saw of this character in this outfit, they all were wearing pearls. So to be honest with you, I've actually never seen Gone with the Wind. I do know like the famous lines from it, like, what does he say? Well, quite frankly, darling, I don't give a damn. Like that, like I know the references, but I've never actually seen the movie, so So I was definitely going in blind here, not knowing what she was actually wearing. But unfortunately, I did not have any pearls to do her jewelry, so I went with rhinestones. So I hope that you're okay with it, Mouse Baby, the winner of this doll. And then I also couldn't tell in her hair, it kind of looked like she had some pearl things going on. So I also put a couple of rhinestones in her hair too. These little hair turds, I don't know what to call them. When I was making them in this dark brown color, they definitely look like turds. I don't know how they look. They kind of look like Mickey Mouse ears. But on her head, I don't know. Do they look good? Don't be mean to me. I cry easily. But other than the questionable hair turds and the lack of hair in the back, other than that, I am happy with how her hair turned out and how her little ears with the earrings turned out. How her dress turned out, I think was as good as I could get it. I also did go in with some little scrap pieces of the blue and the flesh color to make a little bit of a V. Oh, also I did purposefully make her head turning just a little bit because in the photo, she was turning just a tad. So I wanted to kind of replicate that. Now, the biggest piece that is missing from her is her little lace shawl. And as much as I love you, Mouse Baby, I was not about to crochet that, especially with cotton or acrylic yarn. So Ryan went up to Walmart earlier and I asked if he could look for like a by the yard lace for me because I was just going to buy lace and then cut it into her little shawl to drape it around her. I think that that really would have pushed her over the edge and made her really, I was going to say realistic, but this is not realistic. You get what I mean. Unfortunately, they did not have any lace at our local Walmart. So if you have some old lace that you can cut and drape over her for me, that would be great. And send me a picture if you do that. But other than that, I do think that she came out really nicely. I love her eyelashes and her earrings. I think her ears are my favorite. And then also these little curls behind her ears too, I think are really sweet. Oh, this yarn, by the way, for her dress is Elise Voluto yarn. I thought that it was like the perfect color when I picked it out, but then I was looking back at the reference image and I was like, her dress is a little bit more true blue. This one is a little more, just a tad more teal. But I still think that it gets the point across. You know, it's a handmade doll. Of course, she's not perfect, but I did try my very, very best for you, my amazing member friend. Speaking of our members, I want to give a huge thank you to our members in the Cosmic Couch Club. You guys keep this little galaxy spinning. If you guys would like to join the coziest couch in the cosmos, the couch is always open. There's a link in the description box below. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me on this week's episode of This Week's Makes. Thank you for bearing with me with all of my rambling and trauma from this week. But I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye-bye!